everyone. Welcome to the Pass the Mic podcast. And today, our episode is going to really go into self-care. What are some strategies that we're utilizing to really take care of our mental health as we progress through our grad school journeys? My name is Albert Alas. My pronouns are he, him, his.
My name is Davina, pronouns she, her, hers.
And I am Nancy Racino's, pronouns she, her, ella, and we're super excited to be here. So let's get it rolling. Alrighty, y'all. So how are we feeling today?
I'm doing okay.
Could be better.
Yeah.
Feeling a little burnt out. Not gonna lie.
Okay. I feel you. I feel like I've gotten to that point where like I don't have any motivation whatsoever to like continue. And I've noticed and I've caught myself with that, and I'm just like trying to really, find that spark again, because I feel like it's very normal to feel unmotivated or have that, because we're all human. So I feel like I've gotten to that part. So yeah, I agree, Albert. It could be better. I'm burnt out.
I think that, I don't know, it's not a great time to be asking, because I think we're all burnt out. It's the end of the semester.
Yeah.
So I think that even if we were more motivated in the beginning, it's just at the point where we're just trying to push through. And I really think that, I don't know, for myself, I'm just focused on not letting anything overwhelm me where I'm just not functional. I'm just trying to like remain functional and do what I can. That just keeps me going.
I feel that. I think being in our position, our second year, almost ready to graduate, one semester left, the holidays, it's like a lot of things kind of come out that we didn't expect. A lot of family pressures are coming back, and a lot of adult things are happening. We have to get started on thinking about our futures, what's the next step, and it kind of feels like grad school is getting in the way of that, if that makes sense.
No, yeah, 100%. And for all our listeners out there, we wanted to make this podcast to be something where we were fully transparent, the real, talk about like what is happening within our lives. Because I feel like, when you think about like everything that's going on, being at a very prestigious school too, like there can be a lot of pressure. And I feel like for us, our goal was to really get the real and like let you guys know, like, it's okay to feel this way if you ever are in this position, because, we're handling as we are. And I think that the fact that we have each other to support, our social, our friends and family can also be like that. But I also agree with Albert. I feel like, you're trying to make it out right now. Like you're trying to do these things, and it's really hard because it's like, damn, like sometimes I feel like I don't have enough time. Like I really don't.
Honestly,
oh my God, that noise has traumatized me. I swear to you, I can't open any of my computers without it going ding, ding, ding.
And you can't turn your notifications out because then somebody's going to be like, why didn't you check this? And it's like, oh, I don't want to be checking that right now.
Oh my God. I'm sorry to you, that has me traumatized. Ugh. What you were saying?
Oh no, I forgot.
Oh.
Well, going off of that, I guess, what do you do to... I know in our ethics class we're talking about boundary setting and professional and personal boundaries. So how are you setting... How have your boundaries changed since that class or now? Like, we don't want to be working when we're not working. We don't want to be in school when we're in school. It's like, how do you find time to just kind of relax and disconnect from all of that?
I drink, not just playing.
No, but facts are facts.
Facts, yeah. Low-key sometimes, honestly, guys, it's like, a glass of wine, keeps the doctor away. That's what they say. But I think that for me, one of the boundaries that I've tried to create on myself is, like, not checking my emails when I'm not working. Because I feel like when I started, at the current positions, I don't think we've mentioned our positions. So currently, I'm doing 3 positions. I work at USC as a graduate assistant for the first year experience. I'm also a success coach here at Pasadena City College, and I'm also a counseling intern at Glendale Community College. And so before we go into like our self-care, we just want to like mention like what we do. Albert, what are your positions?
I currently work as a grad assistant for general counseling at College of the Canyons, and I'm a success coach here at Pasadena City College.
I am also a success coach at Pasadena City College. And previously, though, I was working for Parks and Recreation in my hometown for a really long time. So that did take up a lot of time, but I did have to leave that one. So, yeah, right now it's just PCC.
And then in a couple of hours, Davina is going to be going into an interview, so we're really excited for her.
She's going to kill it.
Yeah, you know.
Hopefully.
This is like, you know, this is like the real stuff that we go through. But, you know, going back to the whole boundaries, for me, it's more of like trying not to respond to emails when I'm not working. Because I feel like that's something that I've had to learn as I go and as I develop within like my program and stuff. Especially within at work. Because, you know, it could take a toll on you. But, you know, being able to set those boundaries. And one of the things that I'm going to be really honest with y'all, when creating these boundaries, there's going to be a lot of friendships, a lot of loose ends are just not going to be there anymore. I know that when I created these boundaries, I became very distant from certain people that, you know, were a part of my life for a long time. You know, even though they're very supportive, you know, things do change. And you have to be okay with the whole, like, changing. And I feel like that was one of the things that helped me was to be okay with change and when, you know, having these boundaries. I don't know if you guys have experienced that.
No, for sure. Especially when, and Nancy makes a really great point, because the biggest support system a lot of us have are our families at home, but they also get impacted by our choices to, you know, to choose our work or grad school over being at home, going to family functions, and it's hard. And sometimes it can get, like, I think I've had more fights with my parents at the beginning of of this program than now, because now they're like, oh, like, we understand you're in school, you're doing things, but in the beginning they didn't know what that looked like, they didn't know what that felt like. And so even if you're transitioning, and it's kind of, and it can be, and nobody's gonna say it's like easy. And I always love the phrase that, you know, nobody knows what you're going through unless it's another grad student, because really we understand each other the best. And it's hard to, like, find someone who can relate to you outside of people in your program. So really building on those connections and really creating another support group that's outside of your norm, I think it's actually really nice to have. It's also really a good self-care strategy, is to just be continuing to grow your networks and your connections with other people, and just finding a balance. And sometimes you might not even ever, like, figure out what that balance is. I feel like things are always changing every semester. Professors are changing. Your classmates, sometimes you'll have class with people you never had, and you're like, what the am I supposed to do? But
I know I'm guilty of that. I have such bad separation anxiety from you guys.
But I think it's all about really taking it a step at a time and giving yourself grace. I think that is the biggest lesson I learned in this program, is like giving yourself a break and letting yourself know, you know what, like, you're doing your best, like, take a break.
Yeah, no, I definitely feel that, like, giving yourself grace and accepting that you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to compare yourself to other people, because I know it's easy to do that too, especially in our position where we see other people succeeding, and we obviously we're rooting for them, but we also want to do good things ourselves. But honestly, full transparency, I think what's helped me the most is going to therapy. And that's something that I will always be very transparent about and speak about. And I want to normalize that for other people, because I know it's still very scary to talk about. And people are like, oh, why are you going to therapy? Well, honestly, it's just like, sometimes it's nice to have that person who is disconnected from everything, because they can give you a perspective that you might not see. And so I think for me, I've really developed a good sense of, like, developing boundaries, because I know, like, your family, for example, they have the best intentions sometimes, but that doesn't always get communicated well. And so I think for me, just going back and understanding, like, they have their own lives, I have my life, I'm doing what's best for me, what I need to do in the moment, and they might not understand, and that's okay. And I think it's just understanding that everybody is their own individual person, and you don't have to compare yourself, and you don't have to, and it's hard, like, but seek approval from everybody, but just know that you're doing what's best for you. So I don't know. I think like therapy has helped me with that understanding. Like, so it's pretty strong for me.
So, do y'all think there's more that you could be doing for your self-care?
I wish that, like I said, I feel like I wish I had more time to do that. I feel that my days, so yesterday I was talking to somebody, right? And they were just telling me, oh, why do you have to schedule me in your schedule? Like, why do you have to plan things out? And I would legit was like, I have to plan things out. I am unavailable to just drop whatever I'm doing and just do whatever I feel like doing, because it's like there's so much responsibilities that we have going on. And like I kind of was like, I don't know, like my best friend has been my calendars, like my Google Calendar, like my Apple Calendar. Like I don't know what I would do without my calendars, because like honestly, like being very scheduled has helped me, but I feel like I don't have enough time to do what I want to do. And I feel like that's always like an issue. Like you know, people always say like, oh, you're always out partying, like you're always out doing this. And I'm gonna tell y'all, like what I always tell people is like, you have to live your best life and you have to do it the best way that you can, but also be very consenting adults when doing so. But I feel like when people have perceptions, because people are gonna think whatever they want to think of you, right? And I always tell that to people. I'm like, I don't really care. But sometimes I find myself where I have to pick, like, do I want to go out or do I want to stay in, or do I miss the opportunity to put myself out there? When I was younger, I wasn't able to do a lot of the things that I do now. And sometimes I feel like, you know, I don't have enough time to fully do all the things that I want to do, because it's like I'm trying to balance my education, right? So my education life, then I'm trying to balance my career life, and then I'm trying to balance being, you know, a daughter, a sister, a tia. Like I'm balancing all this, and then on top of that, like I'm over here like trying to balance my personal life, you know, thinking about like what Albert said earlier, like, you know, discussing about trying to be adults. You know, we're getting to an age where like I feel like there's a lot of social pressure of like trying to find someone that's going to fit in. And that's another conversation where I was like, you know, relationships within higher education can be very difficult, whether it's romantic, whether it's, you know, family. It's all these, you know, different types. And I feel like I don't have enough time to do the things I want to. And I feel like sometimes I don't sleep as much as I should, because like I just genuinely don't. Like I want to do as much as I can right now that I'm able to do so. But I do think that there are things that I wish that I had more time to be able to do so. So it's hard. I think it's very hard trying to balance stuff. And if this is real, remember, like this is just like genuinely like what we're experiencing.
I think that for me, I think it's just learning what I need to be a better person, or to be a better version of myself is what I should say. Because we have this perception of what self-care looks like, and it could be like doing face masks, or you're getting your nails done, or like even if you're into exercising, like that could be your form of self-care. But I think sometimes it can even just be as basic as getting a good night's rest and saying no to plans. Even if you really want to go, I think that those are also forms of self-care. And I think it's just like for myself, reevaluating what that looks like for me and what my priorities are. So yeah, I think I'm just in the process of discovering myself and discovering what is going to lead to a better version of me, because we're all in the helping profession here. And I feel like I really believe you cannot help anybody else if you're not okay. And so I think that it might get easier, you know, after we graduate and get jobs, and we'll have a little more time. Like Nancy says, like it is hard with the time constraints that we have, but I think that it might get easier, everybody being able to figure out, okay, what do I need to do for myself to be the best version of myself that I could be. But yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at right now, just relearning myself.
I love that. I think just having even just this, I think y'all don't even know how awesome it is to be in this space with these two beautiful ladies. But
Three
no,
beautiful
not gonna
people-
lie.
three beautiful people, thank
three
you very
beautiful
much.
Three
We're not-
beautiful people in a room.
Yes.
Being like this is like this is literally our self care. Like we're doing it right now as we're discussing
We did it
self
last
care.
night too. We were
Like-
there for an hour.
We did, and honestly, it just like I think like Davina said, we glorify what self care looks like, and sometimes it's the simplest things that really give us that break and that mental rest that we need. Like the minute was like, oh, going to bed, I was like, oh, dude, that sounds like even getting up and just like you know what, I'm gonna stay in my bed for like 10 more minutes. That's self care. Like we don't think about it, but it really is.
Yeah.
Just
like your mom doesn't get mad at you when you like nap for the day? I feel like my mom, she's a typical Latina where she's like, get up and do something. I'm like,
she used to be, but after the paralysis, she was like. She was like take a nap. Yeah, she was like, no, you look tired. Go take a nap. And I'm like, oh, okay. So, but I think her too. I think like she comes from, I think because she's never seen anxiety or stress get to that point where it really like damages someone. Now she's like, oh shit, like we all need to take breaks like that. So now she's like, no, take a siesta. Or, you know, maybe not too long, but like at least like I like to do like 30 minutes maybe, sometimes 20. But I think just like stepping away. I like to listen to music, so I'll just like put my headphones in and just like stare at the ceiling. Like it's just the randomest stuff. But you know, that's self-care. To me that's like I'm not doing anything, but I'm like I got all this energy now, or I even just got to take a break. So
honestly, you brought up a really good point though about the cultural context of resting and taking care of yourself. I think that, you know, my family, we're Hispanic, and I think that they see me being successful, and they're like, you shouldn't be tired. You're good. Like they see me succeeding and they're like, okay, you're fine. But that's not the reality all the time. And so that is really big. And also recognizing how your family contributes to what they think is mentally okay, or what is not. Or like if you're resting and taking time for yourself, them understanding that you need that time and it's not a bad thing to rest.
Yeah. And like you said, Nancy, sometimes like our families come from like, at least, okay, my Hispanic family, our Hispanic
I know,
families,
I was like,
you
we
know?
all identify first gen, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we were first gen.
Hispanic-ish. But yeah, all our families, you know, they come from Latinx, Hispanic, Latinx looking cultures. But no, our cultures come from like a lot, like they had to work really hard to just, you know, get anything. So for them to see us like not taking advantage, or even just like taking a rest day, and they'll be like, man, you're wasting so much time. It's like, am I though? Like, and it's a difference of cultures. And it's funny because I've actually had that conversation with my mom about like how different our cultures are, and like, and I think she's trying to be a little more open-minded, and there are times where she'll be like, you know what, some things are hard. She's like, it's a different world, and I'm so used to like what I grew up with. So she's like, I know that I'm putting a lot of pressure on y'all. And she's like, and I can only imagine other parents. And that's what she says. And my dad, he says otherwise. He's like, I don't get it. I don't understand what this word looks like anymore. Like, it's like, he's like, I don't like, his rules for things are very different. And I feel like that kind of, for us, it kind of changes how we look at ourselves. And we start off very young, like already being very judgmental about ourselves, thinking about what we look like, what we're gonna do with our lives. And sometimes like we don't get the chance to really think about what we wanted to do, what we want, I don't know. I feel like maybe it's just Latinx culture, but I feel like sometimes there's more opportunities that we don't get to explore.
What do you mean, like opportunities?
Like, I feel like I would have wanted to see where my artistic career would have taken me.
Oh my God.
Oh, big mood.
Okay,
Big mood.
that's
Okay,
I knew it.
yes. All of us.
You
Yeah.
know, I feel like, you know, there's a lot of pressure to, you know, what's the careers that stand out the most, and they, you know,
Yeah.
it's like,
Mhm.
The
oh,
typical doctor,
science,
lawyer,
Engineer.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I felt that one. That one hit the soul.
Yeah, it really did.
Yeah. We all wanted to do something artistic. You wanted to do what?
I wanted to do theater.
No, see, I wanted to do fashion, but more like professional development stuff, not like designing. Cause like God, I can't draw for the life of me. But yeah.
I think they teach you, no? In like fashion school, they teach you how to sketch.
do. I mean, I used to be able to like I know how to sew, like I know how to do all that stuff. So like I loved it, and I got that from like my family. But very discouraging, and I think that that's one of the things that I also had to make sure that I have those boundaries when I talk to students. Is like you're gonna come across students that are probably identify the same as you, going through the same, and they're gonna be having like a lot of family pressure of like choosing a specific career,
Mm-hmm.
and you also have to be mindful. It's like you can't just say like, oh yeah, don't listen to them. You gotta be able to be respectful at the same time, but also be mindful that everyone's upbringing is gonna be different. And I feel like I wish that I would have had. I don't know. I don't think I can say I regret it because I love where I'm at. I'm very grateful where I'm at. Like, I'm beyond grateful. My life completely changed. But sometimes I think about, like, damn, what would have happened if I would have actually gone to, like, FITM?
Mm-hmm.
Like, where my life would be, And I love it so much. Like, I love fashion. I'm just like,
Do you feel like some of your self-care, like, strategies developed from things that you couldn't do before? Like, I love music and dancing. So, and those are my self-cares.
Oh, yeah, you should
Because
see
I
him at the
didn't get
tailgate.
to. No, my knees can't take it.
I know. He said his knees locked the last I'm dead.
I couldn't walk.
I know, man. You get to a certain age where you can't pop and lock and drop it no more. Jesus.
That's
Okay,
my-
dancing, all right.
Yeah.
You?
Baking. I wanted to be a chef.
Oh,
That's awesome.
I wanted to
I
be a
love that.
professional chef, and so I think for me, baking is so therapeutic. But also, I want to do pottery. That's my goal. For after we graduate, I'm gonna get into pottery. I'm telling you right now.
See, that's okay. So,
I
I'm not
love
the
that.
only one that thinks that. Because, like, I was thinking, like, maybe after I graduate, I want to take a break. I still want to pursue my PhD, but I don't know why. Like, I'm just such a necia. Like, I'm a stubborn-ass person. So, I always said to myself, like, if the opportunity presented itself, like, I would want to go to FITM.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would want to, now that I'm able to, like, get the loans out. Because, like, when I went, my parents had to get it out. So now it's like, well, I'm already in debt. Like, might as well get another $30,000, $40,000 debt. Oh, yeah, and that's another thing, too. If you guys are listening, just be gentle to yourselves. Like, I think we've all already made, or at least I've made peace with the fact that I'm going to be in debt for the rest of my life.
No, so did I.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Honestly, at this point, I think one of the only reasons I decided to do grad school is because my friend told me, if you want to get anywhere other than what your bachelor's degree can get you, you're gonna have to be in debt, and one way or another, anything extra, you're gonna be indebted in some way. You might as well just go all out, go to the schools that you want.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry about paying it back. Like, I feel like it's just that's kind of like a systematic barrier that, like, people create so that you're like, oh, get discouraged. But I don't think it's that big of a deal. You're going to be working, you're going to be paying. You might as well.
It's true.
But if you really dead ass can't, then, like, I mean, that's another
Yeah.
story. But there's also a lot of supports out there.
Yeah.
And definitely reaching out to all of those, I think, is really helpful. And that's honestly why we have, like, we always talk to a lot of our classmates, because people be knowing stuff, and you're like, dang, I want I want in on some of that money.
For real. Jesus. I think before I went into USC, I think someone told me, this is an investment that you're making for your future. And they were just like, you're just investing. And I was like, fuck it. I'm investing. Hopefully one day I'll see it. So, like I said, like, we're all there. We've made peace with it. I've made peace with them. Like, like right now we have to. Did you guys already do the loan?
Yeah.
I just did it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to do the crap again, and it's just like, oh, there we go again. Like, just forgiving myself. So just be great. Like, give yourself some grace, because it could be overwhelming, and it's there's a lot of, like, social pressures and, like, anxiety that can play into role. But I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I don't think that I would have made it within my grad program if it wasn't for certain individuals. 22 individuals that are sitting with me right now. I think Albert mentioned it. It's more of like being able to find your support system and talking to other grad students. Like, I think that it's been the best thing that's happened to me, because it's like, I don't know what I would do without them, because, you know, it's nice to be able to talk to people that know what you're going through, understand your struggles, and I you know, and I'm gonna be honest with you, there's gonna be people that like you, and there's gonna be people that don't like you, and it's okay. It's okay to feel like that, but once you make that connection, or a little family home away from home, like, it makes a big difference. And I don't think that I would have made it in my program if it wasn't for certain individuals, because it gets tough. It gets really tough. They're just looking at me right now, and I'm like, why the hell are you looking at me?
No, I'm thinking. I'm processing. No, yeah, I agree 100%. The feeling is mutual, Nancy. I love you, but
She better. I'm looking at her.
no, but I feel like you're so right. I think it's just but there's also power in transparency, and I think that when you're making friends, like, you're being transparent with one another, and so you don't feel alone. And I think that's the biggest thing, especially right now, because everybody's going through their own things. So it's like, if you feel less alone in this specific aspect, it makes it a lot easier to get through it, because you can, like, I could literally be like, hey, Nancy, have you started this? And she'll be like, no, I haven't, or yes, I have, and I'll be like, okay, I have it. And you just feel more supported, and you don't feel like you're crazy because you're starting a paper the day that it's due, which I don't recommend, but, you know, some people work in different conditions.
I admire her.
But
it's
no,
like two different people. Davina does it last minute, and then Albert does it the first. Like, he's
You're
already
like,
done with it
yeah,
before anyone else starts with it.
2 weeks into the semester, he's already done with all his projects.
No, oh my God, I wish. No, I've been lagging it the last 2 days. I did start, but
no, you're good.
No,
Yeah, you're always
pretty
working
on
on
there.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're pretty on.
Yeah.
No, but it's good because, like Davina says, that since I've already started, and it's like I can show her what I've got and be like, hey, like, this is what I thought it was supposed to sound like or look like, and even then, like, we can, like, give each other feedback and go back and forth. And it's a lot about, even I think, just like checking in with each other. I think that's what's like the most important with these connections. Like Nancy said, there's people that don't like you, there's people that like you. That's just life. You're gonna enter spaces where sometimes people don't want to hear what you have to say, or people do want to hear what you have to say, and we just have to, like, find our own rhythm, our own compromise, and really resonate with the people that want to be in that space and share that space with you. And if that means and if you're always, like, checking in with each other, then, you know, you get to expand on that relationship and, you know, build those connections together, and you don't get to feel like you're doing this alone. Because I don't think I think in the beginning I felt like I was alone, but then after meeting Nancy, Davina, they're the top two, by the way. Like, everybody else, like, they know who they are.
I know. I'm over here. I was thinking about it. I was like, what was
who do I
the
call
first time? Like, I remember the first time we ever spoke to each other, like, I knew from the beginning, I was like, I want to be friends with him. Like, I want to be friends. Because, like, I don't know, there was something funny, like, the presence. And I've always said, like, each individual within the program, whether they're your close friends or not, whether they like you or not, one of the things that I'm going to be really honest with you is that everyone has a story. And everyone's story it has to be told, because we're so used to seeing systems of, you know, institutions that aren't made for, you know, people of color. And I feel like once you hear everyone's story, you get to open up, regardless of what they feel. Like, everyone has a story, and it's very powerful. And for me, it's like, damn, like, I'm very, very grateful that I get to share a space with individuals who I'm like, damn, you guys are going to make a difference in the future because of your experiences.
I love that, Nancy. And that actually is also a really valid point, because sometimes a lot of us don't get to share that story outside of the space that we create. So some of us have been, like, dying to share our stories with each other. And that can just be from different, like, you know, maybe you don't feel comfortable sharing your story just yet, but I feel like this program and just the people that you get to share your life with or your experiences with, they just naturally have a ability to create that space and make you feel like you want to share your story, like not to feel ashamed of it, or be proud of your story, because that's really your own story. Like nobody else lived that story but you. And maybe everyone like lived a similar story, but yours is unique, and that really helps just build a relationship with y'all. And just, I don't know, it makes me appreciate like everything that y'all have been through. And like, I don't know, Davina, you go.
Well, I think on the topic of that though, because I find myself guilty of this. I am still very reserved to a certain extent, even the people that I am closest to, and I think that's okay too though. I think eventually you get to the point where you do feel comfortable sharing your story, what you've been through. But I've always felt from Albert and Nancy and even other friends that I've made in the cohort that there's no pressure. Like nobody's forcing you to share anything. And so I think it's allowed me to share at my own pace. And that's something I'm super grateful for and appreciative of, because everybody's at their own like place in dealing with the things that they've been through. And so for me, like I feel like a lot of what I've gone through is more recent in my life, so I don't think I've been at the point of feeling comfortable to share. But I think that they've given me the space to feel that comfort, but also haven't made me feel like, oh, I need to share, like I'm pressured to share. So I think that's just something else to be grateful for and appreciative of in this program, is that everybody's like pretty considerate and thoughtful of, everybody's unique experience. And on the topic of stories, I still have a fun story that Albert, you gave us. Like they're like little paper stars on, like, it was the first something of school. I don't even know if you remember.
Paper stars?
Yeah, like
the butterflies.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
yeah, I
butterflies.
still have it. I have mine.
Yeah, I still have it, and I feel like that was so thoughtful and kind. Oh my gosh, Albert, you're so thoughtful.
No, y'all should have seen Davina's giving away affirmations.
Oh my gosh.
Handwritten herself. Signed XOXO Davina.
Yeah.
That's cute.
I'm telling you, it's amazing to like think about things that have happened in the past. Like, I don't think that it's all gonna be butterflies and rainbows, but I think that there's more good than bad, and I think that that's something, because I feel like my grad experience has been way better than my undergrad experience in a heartbeat. Like I wouldn't even God no. And I think that this cohort, or at least certain individuals, have made me be more open and be more affectionate, because hell no, homegirl did not like to be like affectionate when I started. But people's personalities rub off on you, so you learn a little bit, and I'm very grateful that I've become more approachable, I guess.
I always thought you were approachable.
I know. I always thought you were
No,
approachable.
hell no. Hell no. When I was an undergrad, I would always keep to myself. I wouldn't want to make friends. I didn't want to. And I think that comes from, your upbringings, or, just really bad experiences that you've had. So I feel like this cohort has made it very easy to make friends and, talk to. And obviously, it's one of the things I remember that our advisor that we had for our first year mentioned to me. It's you're going to come across where you make, it's not like you had to categorize your friends, but it's kind of be you have your grad school friends, and you have your personal friends, and then you have your work friends. And it's just, you being able to know where and how to talk to every individual. So it's been a good learning experience. But, on that note, I really want to hear what you guys will recommend for anyone that's listening. What are some self-care tips that you would recommend? Given if you would have known this at the beginning of the semester, of the program.
That's a really good question, Nancy.
No, I'm being serious, because it's I wish that I would have been more okay with the fact that it's different. Grad school is a different ballpark. It's going to be different. It's okay to feel imposter syndrome. It's okay to feel you don't know what the hell you're doing, because to this day I don't still know what the hell I'm doing. But being able to do that for myself and being okay with it, making connections, you know me, I'm always saying living your best life to your fullest. So, like, you know, I always advise everybody to go out and have fun. And, you know, like Davina said earlier, like, you can't be there for someone if you're not there for yourself. So if you're not okay, you have to be okay. So whatever self-care looks like, for me, it could be shopping, it could be doing my nails, it could be, you know, going out and having a drink with friends and, like, shooting the shit. It could be something as simple as that, or even going for, like, a walk. I know that, you know, for me, like, when I'm working, I love to go for walks. It just clears my head. So definitely, you know, some self-cares.
I think, you know, I think a lot. I'm just coming to this conclusion right now. Anyway,
well, it's good. It's your thoughts.
Moving on.
What was the other word?
Most
definitely.
Okay, moving on. I was gonna say it again.
If you guys listen to the other podcast, you'll know most definitely.
You would definitely know most definitely.
The papa's out.
I'm just reevaluating how I speak now. No, so I used to work with preschool kids. Well, like even younger than that.
Oh God. And
so for me, I would say honestly, make time to do the artistic things that you like to do. Because I would be so stressed out, and then I'd be preparing a craft for the kids, and I'd be like, wait, I actually feel better. And
wow.
I mean, that looks different for everybody, because, you know, like Albert, it could be singing, and then Nancy, it could just even be putting together a cute outfit. And that in itself, I feel like you just need to find creative outlets to express yourself, because first of all, the arts are underfunded, and more people should be able to express themselves artistically, especially if that's what they're interested in. But yeah, for me, found that really helpful to kind of have a creative outlet for my stress, because obviously there's a lot of things that are out of your control, but if you can take the time to find something that you enjoy doing, it makes everything a lot easier. And also just finding your people and not being so guarded, because I know that, like, for me, I was very guarded, and I think once I let go of that, I found people that I could talk for an hour with on Zoom and not even realize that it's been an hour.
But then, no, she only baked for us once. I'm, like, still bored. I'm like, only one time.
It's because I have a big family. Mm-hmm. They all eat whatever I bake.
Facts.
That was really good. Her cinnamon rolls were bomb.
Yeah, cinnamon rolls.
And the packaging was really nice, too. That was a thought.
That was really cute.
No.
Personalized y todo. No, I agree. One of the things that I think, I always think about this, because my professor said it, and I always kind of think about it, like what he always said. Oh, I pick one day out of the week to just do what I want to do, whatever that looks like. If it's making breakfast, or like, he's like, oh, I like to file my taxes. I'm like, okay, that's weird. But it, like, to him, it was like, that was his own self-care. Like, he's like, I don't care what is happening that day. Like, I think he picked Sunday, but like, you can pick whatever day you want. And just picking that day, and it's like, that's the day that you literally just pick the things that you want to do. And whatever those things are, like, it could be a creative outlet. It could be, I don't know, some people like to go to the gym. It could be a drink.
I wish I could do that. I cannot go to the gym for life. I mean, I just don't have time.
But that's the thing. Like, you have to be self-aware enough to know that not everything is for you.
Exactly.
No, once I'm setting that as a goal. Once I graduate, then I'm going to start going to the gym. But right now, I'm trying to balance school and work and a social life. So I choose social before gym.
And that's okay. Sometimes you got to sacrifice some things. Yeah. Sometimes some things got to...
Ooh, that's a good one. Sacrifice.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta sacrifice some things.
Hell no. Yesterday, when I was talking to you guys on Zoom, like, I saw my pants, and I'm like, dude, I'm losing weight, and I'm not even trying to lose weight. Like, I need to gain some ass. But anyways, that's another note. But, you know, you know, how my, you know, core roommates are saying, how there's, like, you know, everyone has a different way of, like, you know, approaching. And don't be hard on yourselves. Don't think that, who cares what people will say, like, regardless of what people are going to say. Like, I've always been, like, the person that I was just like, I honestly really don't care. The only people that I care about is the people that I consider close friends, the people that I talk to on a daily. I think that I talk to you guys than I talk to other people. So it's, like, you know, being able to really find that, and, like, you know, like Davina says, at your time, at your pace, there's no pressure. You know, everybody is different, but being able to have that support system and like doing things that make you happy, like however it is. I can't believe, I'm curious to know what professor says like to do their taxes, because I'm like, bro, like that's funny. But you know, like just setting boundaries with yourself to be like doing this. Like one of the things that I'm going to start doing at the beginning of the month, and I always say that I do this at the beginning of the month, is before I go to sleep, I want to turn off all my devices and for 1 hour just read. Like I want that to be my time. Like I don't want anyone to bug me. I don't want to look at it in my socials, nothing like that. I just want to dedicate 1 hour every night before I go to sleep and read. And like that's going to be something that I'm going to challenge myself to do, because I feel like sometimes it's hard for me to like, you know, I want to be on Instagram, and it's like, no, like I'm doing this for myself. And the other day I met somebody at a conference, and she told me that when she goes to the gym, it's her time. She's made it to the point where she doesn't say to herself, oh, I'm going to go to the gym. It's like, I want this to be my time. And she wakes up at 4 a.m, goes to the gym, and then she starts her whole day. And it was like, when she said it, it gave me a perspective of like, I want to do this for me. This is Nancy's time. This is, you know, wherever, like, it's your time. And I was just like, damn, like, I need to start thinking more of like, what am I going to do for myself? What does Nancy want? What does Nancy need? And like, listen to your body. Listen to yourself. So for me, that's one of the things I'm going to definitely be doing, is like dedicating an hour just to myself. So
That's how it should be.
Yeah.
No, I think a lot of us like feel pressured or feel guilty even, and I think that's the word, guilt. I think feeling guilty for choosing yourself over, you know, helping someone else, or I don't even know, like, you know, just responding to an email, answering a phone call, all these things that we have in our day-to-days. And it shouldn't be like that. We should be prioritizing ourselves, because like Nancy said, if we're not able to take care of ourselves, then how are we going to really like support other people if we're not 100%?
Yeah.
And we don't have to be 100% either. We could be like 95, 80, whatever you're feeling. But if in that moment, you know, you feel like, you know, it's not today, like I just can't, like acknowledge that, and don't feel guilty if you have to call off of work for a mental health day. I think that should be normalized. I think having designated mental health days should really be enforced more. And it's just healthy practice for us. I think like we're trying to move away from like, you know, how society was before, the grind, which is also another podcast, the grind culture. Check that out.
This is not like our self-care one. Whatever self-care looks to you. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so don't feel guilty if y'all are like, you know what, today I'm gonna do me. That's how it should be.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I love that. And I'm so grateful that I have, you know, supervisors that are like very like our boss over here at PCC like tells us like, if you need a day, do it. Like if you need to, you know, take a mental day, do it. And I think that that's so helpful, because, you know, we're educators and, you know, we deal with a lot, like we said, and I think it's really good to be okay with it. I think it's really good. Shit, even if you take the whole day to nap, like, dude, I'm not gonna lie to you, my favorite place in the world is my bed. Like, I just can't. Like, I go into my bed every night and I'm like, God, I love you. Like, I love my bed. Like, I don't want to wake up in the morning. Invest in a good bed, y'all. Dude, my mom, when we moved, she was like, I'm gonna buy new mattresses. And I was like, for what? And then she bought a new mattress. I was like, girl, I love you. Like, I didn't know what a really good mattress was until like now. And I'm just like, dang, like, invest in your bed.
Self-care.
Yeah. I think someone said that. I don't know how much is like statistics, but it's like we spend so much time in our bed because we sleep a lot.
Yeah.
And it's like really being mindful to yourself and your body, and like, you know, like I said, whatever self-care looks for you, shoot. Yeah. But, you know, hopefully we gave you guys some good, you know, tips, like advice. Like I said, originally we wanted this to be just straight, you know, forward of like our experiences, you know, whether they're good, whether they're bad, whether it's like, you know, everyone's story is going to be different, but it is your journey, your own. You know, you are here, you know, listening to this podcast, and like if there's something that we can get you to like, you know, do, is just know that you're not alone. You know, we're here. You can find us on LinkedIn. Yeah, because I'm not gonna say Instagram because like Instagram ain't professional, you know what I mean? But like, you can do LinkedIn. Like, we're here. We're all going to, you know, our program is very small, you know, and our profession is very small. So, like, we know everybody, but just know that, you know, listening to us, and thank you for listening to us, and, you know, hearing our stuff. I was going to say pendejadas, but it's not like that, but perspective. Yeah. You know, I always tell people it's, you know, for shits and giggles type of thing, because it is what it is. Like, you know, we're here to best support you, and like, hopefully you're able to understand that you're not alone, and all of our experiences are different. My experience from Albert is different, Davina's is different, but, you know, somehow we're able to, you know, be together and like be the support. And like, I know that, you know, 10 years from now we're going to be, you know, in our careers, regardless of where we're at, whether it's like moving to San Diego or like moving to the Bay Area, we're still going to be friends, and we're still going to meet and like, you know, discuss. And one of the things, I know this is going to sound so stupid, but one of my favorite things is going to get a drink with your cohort mates and listening to educators vent, because we are all human and we all go through certain things. And it's something that I find it so funny, because it's like, dude, like, we're all in this together, and like, just know that we're here for one another. So
yeah, thank you for joining us on our podcast today, and feel free to check out the other ones. They have some really great topics on basic needs, grind culture, and just different aspects of grad school life that sometimes we don't really get to talk about in our classes, but we really wanted to create the space for y'all to get to experience what that looks like in real time. This is not, it's recorded obviously, but it's not like scripted. We like brought our authentic selves, and we really brought our perspectives, and wanted to make this as real as possible for y'all, just so that, you know, like Nancy said, like, we're human, we're living in the moment, and we're making the most out of it.
Davina's over here sipping her coffee.
Sorry, everybody. Thank you for listening. I think, if anything, it made you feel less alone, because when you're taking care of yourself, I think that it can feel very isolating. But when you hear others are going through the same things, that can help with your self-care, just knowing that you're not alone. And is that any other comments? Last additions?
I don't know if it's like a tradition, but like, if you are a part of the program, you know, you're going to have those evening classes. You know, Rock and Riley's is like across the street. That's like one of our traditions that we always go to, whether it's to get something to eat or just like, you know, talk to your cohort mates. Like we said, and like, we're all in this together, and like, we're all here to support each other, and just live your lives. Go have fun. Go to the tailgates. Go and meet people. Go socialize. Take risks. Like, you just never know what opportunities are going to be there for you. And I truly believe that what's meant for you is going to be for you, you know. And I think that that's something very important to keep in mind. So, you know, thank you for listening.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.